So there you have a real nice arrangement of Create in Me a Clean Heart. If you notice at the bottom of the screen there, the tablature, the song actually starts on that third measure. I usually play this song as a medley with another song played first, so Create in Me actually starts at that third measure. That last note on the second measure, that D there, third fret, second string, is the pickup note to Create in Me a Clean Heart. So we'll play that pickup note, and then we'll go into the third measure. What I'm doing is I'm holding down a G chord with this ring finger on that D, that third fret, second string, and I do that a lot because this song goes from this G to the C add 9, sometimes with a G on the top, and I just go back and forth like this. And by keeping that ring finger right there on that second fret, third fret, second string, it makes it real easy. So let's do this intro. It starts out with that pickup note on measure 2, then this G with a walk up with the thumb. Let's try to do it without strings buzzing. That's that third measure. Then it switches to a D. You notice that ring finger stays right there. So that fourth measure is a D with a couple pull-offs and a little hammer-on. You play the D, take off the second fret, first string, with the pull-off. I'm not plucking it. And then back up to that first string, hammer on and a pull-off. Back up to that, down to the D. So it sounds like this. Now, this first measure here is actually a E minor with the pinky, fourth finger, planted on the top G there. Okay, once again, you just walk up with your thumb. So those first three measures of the intro, just so get an idea how it sounds. Second measure is a C. Then you add the pinky to the third fret, second string, making it a C add 9. So that second measure, again, starts out as a regular C, then you add the pinky to the third fret, second string. Then it goes to a basic walk up of a G chord. Back down. That's the third measure. The fourth measure is back up to this D again. With the hammer on and pull off. Then we go to a C, the first measure here. And then we do like a little series of walk downs here. But it starts second fret of the fifth string, playing that open D string, and then an A. Okay, so let's go to that first measure there with the C. down here to the second measure, let's make sure we play that G with your ring finger like you would like this. Only we're using that ring finger on the 3rd fret of that string, right in there like that, and we're playing the G. This is the section I was talking about where we go from the G to the C add 9, like that. And it starts right here on the 2nd measure, and that ring finger stays right there. Let's go to the 1st measure to get that lead in. Yes. And the 4th measure, we just drop this down 2 strings respectively to a C add 9. That 4th measure is like this, same kind of picking pattern. Now this 1st measure, we're still holding down that C add 9, only we're doing a different picking pattern. We're actually walking up and back down that C add 9. Now on the 2nd measure, we're back to this G, only this time we're adding our pinky, 4th finger, to that 3rd fret 1st string. Same pattern as before. Only we've added that top G. Then here's the C add 9, 4th measure. And then a strum. So that 1st measure with that squiggly line with the arrowhead on top is a strum in the direction of the top E string. Then you hit your D. Whoops, you hit your D, which is the lead-in note to the verse. So I'm going to back up to a couple measures there. We're going to look at this 1st measure. Hit it. Here's where we keep the ring finger down. Add the top G. Now all that was the introduction to the song. I just kind of was playing around with that, and that's what I came up with. It's rather lengthy, but we're only doing one verse of this song. So I wanted to stretch it out a little bit. Because remember, this is actually part of a medley. We've already played one whole song up until this point, so I'm only doing one verse. And now if you're doing this song just by itself, you can, repeat the verse and the chorus a couple times. But to keep this lesson nice and short, we are going to just do it one time through. So now we're playing the verse of the song. We've already done this pickup note, and we're going right into that 2nd measure as the G. This is the melody line. So it sounds like this, nice and slow. Then we go to a D chord. That ring finger stays right there on that same string. Okay, so that 3rd measure is the D, and I do a pull-off like that. So it's like this. You can hammer on there, or you can pluck that. Or you can just keep it all hammers. Then it goes third measure in and drops down to the C add 9. So let's play second, third, fourth, and fifth measure with a pickup note. C add 9, G. Now we come to the first measure again here, which is this G with the added D, ring finger. Excuse me. Second measure, we're going to start going up the neck a little bit here. Ring finger still is on that second string. What's nice about that, it just helps lock in that position. That's one finger change you don't have to do. So it stays right there on that string. Let's go back to the second measure. Let's look at the tab for that fingering. So the top end of this is like this. With this alternating open D chord in it. So let's back up and do this verse again from the start, nice and slow. Second measure. Now that third measure, after we do this part, excuse me, we do the pickup note again. And then fourth measure, we're going back into another round of that. To the D. Now here's something I added in here just for a little bit of a variation. Instead of last time we did this, this time we're doing this. So it sounds like this, that first measure. And the second measure, we're doing something a little different too. We're still holding the C add 9 chord down, but we're doing another hammer on and pull off at the top of this chord. Open string, hammer to the 3rd fret, pull off. Third measure. Fourth measure, we've done this before. Now this first measure is a new chord in this song we haven't talked about. It's kind of a D. There's your fingering. It's the first measure. You open D. Then you have your 7th fret 3rd string, 7th fret 2nd string. Makes a real nice D. What that comes from is this A-shaped D chord, which I really don't like doing that. because I have a hard time with it. So I just simplify it. I just take it and play it like this, and you have all this nice open string. You don't have to bar. Now, this song also requires taking that same shape, moving it down a couple frets to the 3rd fret. We're fretting the 3rd, same finger is only we're on the 5th fret there. 3rd fret here, 5th fret. And I use it a lot. Most of the time I'm just doing these 2 notes. Sometimes I strum, so I got to have that chord and this chord already fretted down. So there's 2 chord shapes you need to know. Okay, so that comes into play on this first measure. So the first measure sounds like this. Third measure, we've done this. So let's do that nice and slow. So now we're coming to the chorus of the song. We just ended with this, G. Now the chorus starts off right there with that 3rd fret, 1st string sliding up to the 8th fret, like that. That starts it off. And then we do a bar chord. It's pretty simple. All we're doing is we're taking our index finger and we're clamping down the 4th, 3rd, 2nd, and 1st string. Now after we do that, then we clamp down our bar. Leave your open A string. We don't clamp that down with the bar. We leave it open so we can play this. So that 3rd measure with the slide before it goes like this. Clamp down. Okay. See that? Real easy. Let's start it over. Then we go to this D chord that we've talked about, that D shape. Okay, this is the same shape down here, and then we slide it up. Keep that shape, move it down, and then slide it up, like this. That's your 4th measure. So let's go back and play those last 2 measures nice and slow. Now we come up to a new chord shape. What this is, it's a G, but we're taking a D-shaped chord, a regular D, moving it up to the 7th fret. Makes it G. Do the same. Similarities there. So this D shape at the 7th fret can be a G. That's those 2 measures. Let's go back. Play it again. This is the 1st measure. And then we drop down, this ring finger staying right on that 2nd fret. Now we add our pinky to the 3rd, ring finger on the 2nd string, drop down to the 3rd fret, adding the pinky there. Okay, it goes like this. Notice these two, 5th fret, 1st and 2nd string, is real easy to slide that same little shape down to the 3rd fret, 1st and 2nd, to do this G. Back to a G. So let's do that again with its D shape, 7th fret. Now sometimes what I do, when I come down to this G, I don't play that whole bottom string part of that G chord right away. I hit this part first. Okay? I don't hit it all together. I hit. It gives me a little time because we're coming from this. Gives me a little time to set that up. This is pretty quick. The 5th fret, 2 notes down to the 3rd fret. Doesn't take any time to do that. And then while that's playing, then I do the bottom part. I believe the tab is showing that I play them all at the same time. It's like this. All of it, including the bass. But sometimes I just do that first, then the bass, and it would sound like this. If you're coming down kind of fast and you don't have time to plant that entire G chord, just do it that first and then plant it. All that said, just to make a little easier chord change. That's all that is. Okay, so let's do that first measure. Let's do it right. It goes like this. The timing goes like this. Now that 3rd measure is that same thing, only we're doing it an octave lower, and we're playing it with a C chord here. See that? C? See the C? Then you pick up the 1st fret, 2nd string. That's all in that 3rd measure. That's just a variation. Instead, we're coming down here. Now, this 4th measure is we're playing a D with an F sharp in the bass. And I play it with my thumb wrapped around, hitting that 2nd fret. Only we're not doing the whole entire chord. We're just doing the bottom end of that D chord. So a lot of times I just play it like this instead of trying to hold down the whole chord, because I don't need that top end. I just need those 2 frets there. And it goes like this, that 4th measure. With a little hammer on, back to that. So we lift this off, then hammer it back. And it goes like this one more time. So let's do that 3rd and 4th measure. Now while that B string is ringing out, it gives us a lot of nice time and a sound continuing as we pick up the C and come down to this. That B string is ringing out because we do this. Open string ringing out with a chord change. Okay. Pick it up, hammer it back. First measure we're doing is G. So bottom G with a couple open strings. Then you add your index finger, first fret, second string. Then you add your pinky to the third fret, second string. I just keep them both down. It's easier. Second measure, just look at the tab there. Excuse me. Okay, let's do those together. Once you add that pinky to that third fret, second string, just leave it there because you're going to need it through that second measure as well, so might as well leave it there. Let's just do it here. Don't get in the way of these open strings like I tend to do. Did you hear that? Push your elbow forward. It creates an arch over the neck, and you won't have those strings getting touched when they don't need to be. Okay, much better. Third measure in, we're going back up to this partial bar at the 5th fret, and that's all we're doing. We're clamping it down and we're doing a walk up. Okay, that's all that measure is. And we've done this before. Last time we just did this. This time we're going to strum those chords, and it'll sound like this. Okay? Just for variation. Let's do the third measure. And this D-shaped G chord, we're strumming that as well. So this first measure is like this. This is a G. With the hammer on from the 7th to the 8th. Then you take it back off and hit those two notes again, 7 and 8. With open D. Now while that open D of that first measure, that open 4th string, gives you plenty of time to come down with these two fingers, 5th fret, 1st and 2nd string, back to the G. Alright, so let's go back to, let's just back up and play that third measure and do the strums. Okay, nice and slow. Now that third measure we were just keeping, we just finished that with the G. Now we're dropping down, making that a C add 9. Okay, back to that first measure. Excuse me. Third measure, C add 9. Back to this D shape. Drop it it down. D with the hammer on. See how we're using this chord a lot? In this shape. Okay, so let's just start at the beginning of that measure there. C at 9, third measure. Fourth measure. To the G. That's pretty much it for the chorus. And then from there on, it's just like a little outro, which is pretty much the same as our intro. We just had done this. Then we go to this outro and measure 2. Pull off. Now while that's ringing out, third measure we go to this E minor. And you notice in the tab, it's just we're playing the top G with the open second string and the open sixth string. While that's ringing out, you got time to go ahead and plant the E minor, your typical E minor down there. You don't have to do that whole E minor shape with the top G right at the first. You can actually plant that in separate segments, make it a little bit easier. So second verse. I'm sorry, that was second measure. E minor, then plant it. Fourth measure is a C. Starts out with the C. Then you add your pinky down to the third fret, second string. Let's do that whole row again. Then we play a G chord. We're just walking up and back down. Doing the same thing, a walk up and down with the D chord on measure 2. The top end of that, we're just hitting an open string, hammer to the second, pull off, finish the D chord. Third measure is a C. We're hitting that top E note on there, top E string. We've done this before with the intro. That's what that does there. Third measure. Now with your middle finger, play the second fret, fifth string. Open D. Open A, open D. Now the fourth measure, let's go ahead and get set up with the ring finger. This is a G. I'm only going to play it with this kind of setup. Second finger, middle finger rather, on the third fret. And we've got this ring finger back on that D string because we're going to be going between G with a D and the C at 9, that just stays there. So, real slow. We've done this with the intro, then drop down to the C at 9. Measure. Now the fourth measure, we're doing that again, only we're adding the additional G note on top. it ends in a strum like that. The word writ above there, above that second and third measure, just means to slow down. We're winding this song down. So that last little stretch goes like this. And as we're walking up and down this C add 9, we're just kind of mellowing out and slowing down a little bit. Third measure is nothing more than playing these two notes. Whoops, these two notes of your C add 9. And there you have your squiggly line with the arrowhead, which is a strum, all 6 strings. You can play with your thumb. My hand's already in a position that I strum that with the back of my nail. We have just come off of this. And my index finger is already in a position just to strum. That's why I do it that way.